Hello, and welcome to Coast Nation Fan TV. I am Pilo. I am your host. This is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs Football Club. And in this video, we are going to talk about something that we've touched on in the previous videos, but it continues to be an issue because now more and more things are coming out about what actually went wrong in the January transfer window. What actually happened with the Chiefs? Why did we end up signing one player and signing another player on a pre-contract? What is going on? And as an interesting question, it's just a matter of being curious really, Uguti. Does Zwane coming out and kind of exposing management, although he did not come out and say the management sucks, he still found a way of protecting them, although he was talking about Uguti, they failed to do the things, but then found a way of protecting them. Uguti, does this maybe indicate Uguti Guayena he's getting a bit frustrated? Because at the end of the day, all this pressure that comes from not getting enough players to come to the team adds up, and then you end up knowing Uguti, everyone now wants my head, because fans are calling for Zwane's head. They are saying yes, management is bad, but mostly now people are just saying Zwane is clueless, Zwane this, Zwane that, and at some point he would just want to say, actually, I'm not the one who decides all these things, it's up to the management. And before I go to the failed transfers, I think he made that point with Ishuka Piliat, as you can see on the news down here. Uguti, when he was asked about Piliat, he did say Uguti, ultimately it's not up to him to decide who comes or goes in the team. So in a way, he's just letting us know, letting us in Uguti, if Piliati contract ends up not being extended, it's not just because he, as Atazwane would have said, you know what, I don't want Piliat's contract to be extended. It will be also up to the people above him. Now, anyways, going to the actual quotes from Uzwane when he was talking to a journalist Izolo before he ended by MTN, not MTN 8, Telkom no here in the Nedbank Cup. So he was saying, Guti, we had to move on and focus on the players that we had in terms of personnel. When Uzwane says that, saying that they had to move on and focus on who they had in terms of playing personnel, remember Guti, he said the similar story around December when he said, when he was asked about Caleb, which was the option when Caleb gets injured, he said it's okay if Caleb gets injured, Uduba is an option. And at that point, it seemed as if he had just given up on signing a new player, because at the back of his mind, or he was told, Uguti, you are not getting anyone, so you'd rather, or you better have a plan to use Uduba, because if you can't use Uduba, then you're going to have a problem. That was back in December. My thing is, when did they decide to start moving on to other players? Was it back in December already, or was it in January? Because in January, the other main area that we needed a solution on was a position defensive midfield. And the person who was playing in that position is obviously who? Uplom. He left, and we've not had a defensive midfielder, like a proper natural defensive midfielder, since that guy left. And now, with that thing that had happened, I need to change something here. You then found yourself in a position where you are playing without a defensive midfielder, and now you have to find solutions that will include playing abadlali out of position. For example, Usebe, we know Guti, as much as he can play box to box, but kukhona ukuthi kwesinye isikhathi he plays more advanced in the field, but now we're more utilizing him as a defensive midfield. Another trial and error method was with Usamgelo Zwane, who was tried in a defensive midfield position, but then Zwane realized, oh no, it's not working. So then he changed him and brought on Usteb. So it makes me ask myself, at what point did Chiefs actually realize, you know what, we are going to need to to just use the players that we have. And how much effort did they really put in? Because I think if there's something that Chiefs can get credit for in this time around, would be ukuthi somehow they managed to keep their news dealings outside of public this time around, only this time around, because every time Chiefs makunomuntu emtargetayo, we know about it. We know ukuthi Chiefs is looking for someone, and then the next thing you know, everyone is reporting ukuthi Chiefs want so and so, and then because the Chiefs, they fail, and then we end up being on the place that we're on in the first place. So my question is, when they decided to sell Blom, did they start at that moment who can we replace Blom with, or did they not? In fact, while they were still doing contract negotiations, Blom, did they at that moment have a person in line to replace Blom? Because lento leni nyaka le yabo uzwane engakhuluma ethi we're unfortunate. There is no being unfortunate here. Business, and you have to do izinto ekumele uzenze. Like you indaba kaBlom, they saw ukuthi it wasn't happening, like since when? Since August, September. We knew at that time ukuthi indaba kaBlom is not materializing. We knew uCaleb efika eseqalela imali ukuthi isinenkinga noCaleb, which means iChiefs had uAugust, uSeptember, uOctober, uNovember, uDecember, 5 months. Kaizer Chiefs had 5 months to find the right player, to profile the right player, because we are profiling, we are looking for the right player. 5 months of looking for the right player. Ashaya no January, that's the 6th month, 6 full months, and you come up with who? You come up with Usael, who is going to be a good player for us. You come up with Utitlokwe, who's only going to join us end of the season. What is happening in the meantime? We don't have a defensive midfield. You knew we were not giving Uplom a new contract. We don't have another winger. Also, Hota Vele have been playing on and off, and predictable, and questionnaire in terms of equality up. Yet, management here to just sat and thought, you know what? Let this be. Sizobona if anyone becomes available, because that's how we sign Tina Kaizer Chiefs. We don't sign based on, do we need a player in this position? Do we lack in this position? So then we should go out and sign a player. Chiefs looks for opportunities. I think I've actually heard this from one of them, looking for right opportunities. A player is available, and we just so happen we not have a space in that position. We are not proactively looking for someone who we need in our team. Tina umdlali kumele abe available, then simsign. Asimsign ngoba siyamdinga, simsigna ngoba available. And that is why in our team uzothola kune depth kwi position that you don't even care ukuba ne depth kuyo, yet we are kwenye position ayinabadlali. Why is that happening? Why is it so poor? Why if lento ibahlula bengalandi someone who is going to know how to do recruitment, and bona what they can do is just be the ones aga reporter kuye lo muntu loyo. But at the end of the day, if they are still involved in a way that is making them the ones who get the report, then it's still a problem. So indaba ye Chiefs nje bafethu nendlela abayirana ngayo, mina vele it doesn't sit well with me. And ukudlalisa unange uqala ukum-introduce ukuthi sizomdlalisa as a defensive midfield, udlala nge-29 January, 2 days before the end of the transfer season, transfer window. Kwaloko nje kumele kukutshela into eningi ukuthi that's when they decided or realized uZwane himself ukuthi okay, I'm not getting another player, so I might as well just play this guy. Guys, please do like the video if you're enjoying, and I'll take my comments in. So the first comment is from Simba. This time they should make they should make it right this time around. But the inkinga ye Chiefs ukuthi wena Khosi Simba, they don't care, right? They just don't care. They really don't care. Like as abanandaba. Like abanandaba ngempela. They just thought, no, we are going to see what happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. And it didn't happen. You ngeke mfethu vele uthatha ama gambles or ugamblishe nje. I mean, here's the thing, ne? Usicela impilo okuchiliza ongena coaching certificate, ongena next, ongena twa, ongakazabe kuyi professional team, obeyidlalela ibhola emakhaya kwaphela nya. Wayazi ukuthi uSamkelo Zwane is a good player but is not matured enough in terms of his defensive play to be the trusted sitting defensive midfielder like uBlom was. uBlom, on top of the fact that une pace, uBlom on top of the fact that he is a hard worker and une background yokudlala as a right back and as a defender. That's a solid foundation of making him a defensive midfielder or converting him into a defensive midfielder if he wasn't a defensive midfielder. That background ukwazi ukudlala uma position helps uBlom to be a player who's going to be good enough to play as a defensive midfield. You take a player who has flair, who's good enough going forward, who's going to play and create chances for you going forward as a 8, and you put the pressure yokuthi akayodlala as a defensive midfield. Umedlisa okwenzeka imistake like kwenzeka kuSundowns, usedrophe umfana, he's never going to play again, or he's going to play 10 games from now and nakhona uzobe sedlala 5 minutes. Usedestroyekile because of a miscalculation that we made ukuthi no, this one we trust him, and then when it doesn't deliver then sekuba ngathi no, it's a big deal of anuyabozwa yasilisa. No, proper planning ibingekho. Then bese yabuya uDecember noJiva sezola Khosi aliphela umoya awe cause unathi Khosi says sanibonani makhosi amahle mpho Kitty Marer says hola Khosi impilo, hola Khosi Nation. Motebu says hola Khosi Nation awe. Cook says Amakhosi Football Club, and then Khosi Theo says molo mpilo mfethu bafo management ifeyile ukusayina sidlule lapho nazi ke iplayers khona uZwane ohlula ukusebenzisa zona. He's continuing using uFrosla Hlanti for what? Yabo, here's the thing. Ekazwane ivideo kumele vele siyenze simdissect ngokwakhe. But for today ngifuna siqhubeke sikhulume ngaindaba management because I feel like it's easy to scapegoat uZwane and say we are better, uyazidlisa. Cha naye vele this season useke wazidlisa nje kule game yami yeTS Galaxy uzidlisela uZwane. That's plain and simple. However, we should not overlook the fact that kunezinto that management did not do and that they should have done better. You understand? So that's why I'm at ukuthi as much as uZwane naye nama issues zakhe, as much as singakhuluma sibe ne video kakhone on his own and dissect him on his own, uzobona ukuthi ayibu njalo noDove nayo nenkinga zakhe. As much as in the season I would say he has been the second best player that we've had, because I think our best player this season was uBlom and then uDove, because as much as bonke benza ama mistake yena ungconywana. And mawuthatha ukubheka the next player that you can start and include in that conversation kuzoba uDupree egeja. But again, I don't know, off topic. I'm just saying ukuthi there can be something to be said about everyone achieves for responsibility. At fitness coach wenzani, why are players still unfit at this point in the season? So ziningi izinto that we can talk about. It's just that right now ngifuna focus on management. And Utheo says, and guys, let us not forget to subscribe and like, please, Khosi Nation. Yes guys, please do like. Utheo again continues to say, and I also think Fundo Vilakazi can do better than Dolly and the others. He must promote Fundo Vilakazi. Finish and clear. Here's the problem with that. Uduba is not playing, right? So Uduba is already not playing, and Uduba is much older than Umfundo, and Umfundo I think usesesikoleni again, Avele is much younger than them, and uzothathwa Umfundo abench. So in a way, the player that was supposed to stay with development, akhula, develop and be a better player when it eventually comes to the main team, mawusumletha ku main team ufika umhlalisa ebench njengoDuba. Ucada what is happening to Duba right now. Number one nje, his sharpness yakhe, he's losing sharpness ngoba ehlele ebenchini. Number two, he's losing confidence. So basically promoting our players to the senior team has become a graveyard. That's what is happening right now. Guti, promoting Kaizer Chiefs players to a senior team becomes the graveyard for their talent, because umfana ufika perform kahle kwi development and everyone says yes, that boy is doing so well, and then they get promoted, bafike bahlaliswe benchini, and then the boy is gone just like that. So then it makes you then think twice when you're thinking about promoting a player. Ukuthi if bempromote lo mjita lozohamba uhlala ebenchini, and then what? Kwamanje Slone awuthukele osefama usefika wakora lapha. Yes, I know it's a lower league, but still abadlali that were promoted to the main team and they never got an opportunity to play for Kaizer Chiefs, and because of that our players are now probably scared of getting promoted, because they know that if I get promoted I'm probably going to get benched. So now sekuyile inkinga enginayo ukuthi you have quality players like Kabo Sabelo Hadebe bahlele benchini. So indaba ye promotion manje for mina nje ingane yami ku Chiefs, I wouldn't like push them so much to be rushing indaba ye promotion, especially if they're still looking at other things that can happen. Take for instance, why is Fabian McCarthy not rushing his son to come to his senior team? Because apparently he said no to getting promoted because ufuna ukufocus in his university studies, because he knows ukuthi football can be cruel, not only because it's a short career in a 14 years tops or 15 years tops football career, unless you continue to be a pundit, then you can have a longer career, but playing career wise it's like 10 to 15 years. So then we as utimele ingane yami focus kwezinye izinto, so that if it doesn't work out, and if a player who played for the Chiefs during his success yabo is doubtful of having his child promoted playing in the main team, that should tell you a lot ukuthi naye unama doubts akhe vele. So yeah, Liberty official should have started planning when the rumors were getting out that Blom might leave, not suddenly at the end of the window. We try to get a quick deal done. It's wrong. Exactly, bruh. Exactly. Like, this is what I'm saying. Guti, Chiefs knew this thing. Blom. Yabo Blom. They knew it in August, September. Yabonji around November. They knew exactly what they were not offering him squat. They knew what they were not reaching agreement. So that means what December they were supposed to be looking for a defensive midfield, regardless. You understand that regardless of the fact that Uplom was going to be sold or not, the fact that Uplom was the only defensive midfielder in the team, that should have gotten them off their seats, and they should have started looking for a defensive midfield. Because ukhumbule, besides ukuthi Uplom was taken and put to play as a defensive midfield, kukhona vele ukuthi from the get-go we did not have a defensive midfielder according to Uzwan, because the moment the season started Uplom was played as a right back. What does that say to you? It says to you ukuthi Uplom was never in the plans yokuthi abe defensive midfield. Only became a defensive midfielder because we're lacking in that position. So there is no way that someone can tell me ukuthi Chiefs did not know ukuthi they had to sign a defensive midfield. Beginning of the season, no defensive midfield. Contract negotiations Blom stall, look for a defensive midfield. Uplom uyahamba uno January wonke, you couldn't find a defensive midfielder. Sonke leso sikhathi. You can't tell me ukuthi you are serious with the team. You can't tell me ukuthi you are serious with your fans. The fans go out every day and they fill in those stadiums, and Chiefs cannot take their fans seriously. I don't understand why. Is it because they know the fans won't stop supporting the Chiefs and they're exploiting that instead of saying, you know what, we are grateful these fans are following us each and every day. But what are they doing? They're just saying, no, we're going to try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Guess what? People are getting affected and people are getting sick because of the Chiefs. People are getting mocked, and that's not fun at all. Knowing Uguti, you were once the biggest team. You were the ones who always talked about, yeah, our teams play so well. We're exemplary. We are there. Right now, Uguti is totally top 8. And Mona, they are busy giving us empty promises. They don't take us serious, love. I-Chiefs nje ayisithathe serious. Ayisithathe serious lokhu kwangempela futhi. So awuthi ngiqhubeke ne-comment kaThabang who says they thought young Zwane was going to step up, which is highly unfair on the young lad. It's unfair and unrealistic. Iliphi ibhola bona balibukile where players just automatically transform and become this beast that they never. Yabona, he was not even eased in. Players are eased into these things. They are eased in. Aqaliswa 10 minutes here and there. And Zwane, when he was being played, when Blom was still here, Zwane wasn't played as a defensive midfield. He was just added into midfield as a 8. Makambu Blomu hambo sita deep. Uyoba defensive midfielder yethu. Uyithemba lethu manje wena. The standards, the level that Uplom set. Usamukelo Zwane is a good player, but is not a defensive midfielder. So bamqhaphazile, and the damage that they've done to that boy, because he knows manje ukuthi scheme sekure ukuthi asithole. If oMatlose bedlala ahead of yena again, that just tells you ukuthi sekunzima ngempela. And then Mpho says Bobby ubhizi ngama-Slay Queens wama-2K. No guys, lo mkhuhlane awufuna ukuphela. Please guys, do subscribe and like the video. Mainly please like the video. Please like the video. Mandla says Amakosi, and then Mashua Mutau says Amakosi amahle wola Kosi. Brafox Walenkosi says Zwane said they won't sign Modi because we are covered on the wings, but the truth is we only have Dole and Sekhota who are natural wingers. And another thing is that where did that come from? Where did that come from, Monakos? Where did that come from to say we are covered? Because it was the same Zwane who said I-Chiefs needs someone who's going to add a depth aside in Sekhota. It was the very same Zwane. So what changed? Is it him who changed his mind, or was it told Uguti, Baba, we will not be signing a winger for you? And if that's the case, work with what you have. Improvise. Improvise. And then he had to come out and change his statement, manje, or we are covered in that position. Now who's looking like an idiot? It's him. A reputation Zwane that's going down. And I saw a very sad comment on Twitter. Someone was saying, does Zwane know that if he gets fired with Chiefs, he doesn't get to coach any other team? And that's a sad reality, because he hasn't really proven himself anywhere else. And if that happens, I think 11 wins, 8 draws, and 9 losses. At this point, he's 2 losses away from equaling equal number of wins and losses. Yasindel. And then Liberty official says we never buy players that fit what we are trying to do, and we end up blaming players, but some of the players we have could do wonders for other teams. It's just that they don't fit us. That is correct. Like you can take for example Haaland. There's been a lot of talks about Haaland. Haaland has like 25 goals for Manchester City this season, and like he's just on fire. But you at least Manchester City indirectly, not because we at least like we have a goal. But did you know Haaland has the same number of goals? I mean, Man City has the same number of goals right now at this point in the season as they had last season without Haaland. Just that lama goal asekora Haaland last season abekorwa o Mahrez o Gundogan or De Bruyne or Rodri. Everyone was scoring, coming together as a team. Tiki-taka, tap in, net, Wonke umuntu was contributing, and they did not have to change their style to accommodate anyone. But now no Haaland. So what happens now is that if a team marks Haaland, Oguyena or say pivotal point, or say like a main like ngatin or target man, if you block Haaland, isithi ayisazidlale kanjani, because use uye manje umuntu otargetiwe, and because of that isithi is now dropping points that are not necessary. That's how United stopped them, that's how Tottenham stopped them, because bavele bamag. Even Liverpool, they dealt Liverpool ebozani kule season, but they just dealt with Haaland clear game layer when they were at Anfield. But Liverpool yadliwa, kodwa they were able to beat City ngoba nje bamaku Haaland. So it's that thing yokuthi kunabadlali that are good, but they are not good for certain system. Not good bona personally, but bona with regards to what they bring to the team. They might bring goals but compromise the style. They might bring a style sabo which does not fit the style that is being played here. Basically, people were talking about how who's this guy? Number 7, Otu Kambul has now scored more goals than he has scored with Chiefs, and he has played less matches, blah blah blah, and they're saying he wasn't a problem. He could have been. If his system fit now, context will compromise. For a big player like Haaland, it will compromise the system. For a player like who's this? For a player like Caleb, who I think back to Haaland with Chiefs, na ebamshintshela system, who you say pivotal point. Magdlalo mtu, magdlalo duba, kuba ne movement eningi with Chiefs. Everyone is playing in a different way. But manje uKaleb usimdlalisa as if Haaland, and shintshe style asethu because of it, because we just sign players because they are the best we can do. They are not the best available out there, and if we are still signing based on what's the best we can get, so King is serious. And then Mandla, because Mandla says Zwane doesn't know how to substitute. He's so inexperienced. It's just said. And we've been talking about it now when I cause Mandla land. Uzwane needs help. Uzwane needs help, or Makali season he's not coming back. If I am saying it, I don't think Chiefs will keep Uzwane if it doesn't finish with top 2. As much as Betty they are building, but I doubt they will keep him, especially if he continues with this thing of not using ama-subs at Benekon. Uyifaka nje enkingeni, uyikupela umkoti. And here's the thing. Uzwane by underperforming, he's basically giving management a good excuse. And then they bring another coach, which they can then say we are building Nangaleo coach. In a way, still Basai protectable on his management. They can still fire the coach and still look good to my fans. All the Mtaungs made a decisive thing by firing a coach, but they will just keep on scapegoating our coaches because they don't do the right things that they're supposed to do. Then Kosi Frank says ngiyavumelana nawe lapho bafo. Chiefs angazi basapha bafana if ingabasebenzisi. Baningi abadlali abafikayo abancane kwi-Chiefs but bagcina bephelele emoyeni. Like how many players have we actually promoted that end up just disappearing? Like also Fama babambelele in the past few years, like benga disappearish kwi system belokubezama ulokhu uzwe nje kuthiwa ukhona kade gym umbone kuma Instagram uthi awu nangu ujima ne team but lutho ukudlala ubone kuthiwa usesende kuyiloan okay the next thing you know hawashona usibanibani awaya kwiSwallows Shuthi phela kahle enye into nje emosha imali le development abayivaleke phela development makukuthi kanjani bayivale le development ngoba they are not making money from it but develop abadlali baje babahlalise benchini. Unathi says Chiefs management is a mess on its own and it annoys me. You and me both, brother. Theo says, yeah, Mpilomfethu, it's true. Why is promoting young players just to bench them? Look where is young Zwane, Duba, Hatebe. You, this thing of experience is killing our team, really. You too reasonable, bro. Yazi. And inkinga, mina, funny enough, people are still pushing ukuthi abadlali bethu abana experience ingane. You look at the squad that Chiefs has. Magdlala ukhona. You have Ukhune who's like 35. Go right back, you know, Frost like yes, maybe it's like 24. You have Udove 28, Kweneka 28, Hlanti 32. I'm literally writing their ages right now as I speak. Oh, this one focus. Yes. And then you have Ustebe just 10-30, Mart 27, 28. And then kwa left you have Udoli 29. And then kuyi-10 bese uba nengane ke mhlambe na 23 or makumdu 19. And then on the left you have Dupree who's 26 and then forward 25. Mangathiwa ngiya-add lezi number lezi I can do the maths a quick but mangibona ukuthi ingane ingaki kule team ke makuthiwa sting experience in our team bangaka abantu abancane makuthiwa ke siba ne siya exaggerate so to Frost lamncane ngabo Frost lamncane kuliphi city unkosi ngiphile mncane. So in that case we'll only have 2 players abazobe be classify as young players in the entire team out of 11. Even if you remove Ukhune at 35 and play Peterson at 28, still the average age yalabadlali laba ikwenzele enye into bekumele kahlahle ngi-add le number live bese siyasicalculate squad age sethu. Ungasicalculate bese uyasiposta la bese uyabona ukuthi i-team yethu akusiza ingane edlala lapha abantu abana experience kodwa bazidlisa, yet people keep on insisting faka an experience, we need experience. That's why people were complaining about Ukhune must come back because he's gonna need experience, uzosiza communication. But him more than any other keep uyobeklesha no Dove. And then you're asking yourself ukuthi how kanti inkinga bekuyi experience in manje noma yini? Akusiyo nje experience, ukunje basibhedela. And then Unati says they are running Chiefs like a spaza shop with our emotions involved. As long as the brand grows, Chiefs doesn't care. Mpo says 8 years young is Kala, bruh. And it doesn't seem like it's stopping anytime soon. Kosi Sabelo Dlamini says, Brazo, all players who are promoted to a first team, you can't expect all of them to play same time because you can't put in Twana Zotwa. Because Mabe Faga Labafana, we also complain and we also say we lack of experience. Mina ngaze ngakusho lokho ukuthi like experience, but I will say this now when Kosabel. My thing is have a plan. You have Ukeletso Sifama and promoter is not getting any minutes. Okay, we have teams Bostel and Bosch, Abo Swallows. We can even find them at teams at KZN like Imarespec United. They are not backed by rich people, those teams. Arrows having those kind of deals we give you our young players to play for you on a loan. They can even play against us in a way that makes our relationships between us and these teams good, because we know we give them players from our development, and if we see these players abaga be ready to play in for Kaizer Chiefs, we still need them to get experience, we send them out. Agahamba udlala kwi-Gallants akhuphuke abe much better, and then 2-3 season in usena 22 useyaqala uyaperform, then you bring back that player to your Chiefs manje usenjani, usene-experience yokudlala kwi-PSL, and now he can be a starter kwi-Chiefs. If kukuthi awumloan out for first season, second season, we've seen players being loaned out to teams for like 2-3 seasons. Makusuka lapho, you can just sell the player for like $1 million and then say ufake i-buyback clause kulo mdlalo loyo ukuthi you will buy that player back for a certain amount. Find a way of making business so that you keep investment yakho does not go away. Like about Chelsea, they took Khona Gallagher ubengazi ukuthi ubani. Wow, Chelsea babona ukuthi akana space. They sent him out on a loan. Mason Mount, Reece James badlala ku Chelsea. I'm not even a Chelsea fan, by the way. Mason Mount, Reece James badlala, they are development players. And then they sent Gallagher out to go and play. Wafika wadlala ku Palace, help Palace set the league on fire. The next thing you know, okay, useperform elufana, they are bringing him back. That's what Chiefs should do, because akusizi ukubahlalisa ebenchini bengenzi lutho. Ngeke ufike in one season upromote uSabelo Hadebe bese ujike in that very same season usayine uCole noNangi. You're already saying lo mfana uzohlala ebenchini because ngeke usayine 2 experienced players uthi abazonyoa scheme. That's just not gonna happen. And then Ulibatimo official says, guys, Mart, Sithebe, Matlo, Zwane, Nange, are they all fighting for the same one position? At this point, it seems like Mart, Sithebe, and Zwane, no Nange, no Cole are competing for that double pivot. Who's going to be the best double pivot? So number 6. It seems that way to me anyways. So I think Umatlo is the one who's competing to be more of a 10, not a 6. And yeah, because Umatlo, Ungobo, they are the ones who are competing for a 10. And then the rest, Unange, Ukole, Uzwane, Umat, Nosteb, they are competing for a 6. That's what I see anyways. Umpo says, yeah, Zwane honestly needs help. And the Chiefs is taking their own time. They are taking their own time to even bring on Amalukunja, reinforcements. Because if you don't see Zwane needs help, because Chiefs they tried in Zwane, and if they think it's not working, they will just fire him. And they will say, oh, we had trust in him. We gave him a 3-year contract. And in a way, it didn't work. That's what they will tell him if they fire him. We tried, bruh. It didn't work. We're sorry. We have to let you go. On the bright side, you were the highest paid coach in the PSL. So we'll still keep on paying you the money while you're thinking of whatever that you want to do. We can even send you abroad to go and study more. You are our legend. You can still come back. You can have a job here at any time. So in relationship Zwane, even if they fire him, he might still come back and coach Chiefs in a few years' time if the next coaches don't do their job. Guys, please do like the video. Next one is, what happens to Chopin? I don't even know who Chopin is. Umcook says, Inzima into Zwane, he will get fired either way. Uma Pixana management thinking, umevumelana nayo, but doesn't get result, foot is still a problem. Exactly. Yabo, that's the problem, Mozwan. Uguti, he has a relationship with the management. So in a way, interest yake sometimes cannot be ahead of your management because he feels like he's betraying the management. So he can speak against the management at the very same sentence Achigai correct, I defend. Like saying we wanted to make some moves in January, but then says, oh, we are unfortunate. We're not unfortunate. We just didn't do the right things. You can't tell me Ngemalga Blomu we were only able to sign one player. Fine. Let's just say Ngemalga Blomu you were only able to sign one player. But when we're not planning to sign another player in any case, like let's say Blom didn't leave. Are you telling me Muguti Chiefs were not going to sign a defensive midfielder to reinforce that position? Does not make sense. Next comment is Mpho says Mtu is the only omncane player at Chiefs. Exactly. Yona ngane le. Abange nje. As Uspio, I think, is alluding to that. He says it's what people don't understand. 24, 25, 26, you are now experienced and in your prime. We should at least have keeper position 5, 8 and a striker with experience. The rest should be under 23. And indaba experience ukubona ukuthi kwesinye isikhathi kuyana ngeteam ukuthi team yini. Ubuke oGerman bafika la belinyalelo obhalak ngisho not la eSouth Africa ngo2010. Bafika kwathu ingane lezo Ozil, they were getting prepared for 2014, then they won the World Cup, because that's just what happens. If you are prepared, if you build your team in that way, then you will reach the places where other people won't reach, because they are too scared and they think inganeles. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, and until next time, remember, equals alpelumoy. Dun 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 dun.